Good afternoon. My name is Elizabeth Hooper. Today, I want to say thank you for you guys to come here and be part of this meeting, community meeting. And also, we want to extend our gratitude to the fire chief and all the people here that are facilitating the restore unit for this event. Also, we are very grateful for some people from the different agencies that are here for us and for the community. And they're gonna be here in case you guys have questions. So the purpose of this meeting, I wanna let you know, is simple. It's just to update the community, sharing with you all the update about the Bonanza Creek and Coldstream Creek fires around here, and we want to make sure everybody that has questions get an answer regarding this incident. And so just to let you know, at the end of all the meeting is going to be recorded, and it's gonna be available tonight if you guys wanna go and check it out, or another people that couldn't make it today. Please silence your phones, and that's all. So that's my introduction. And so for now, we are going to, I know everybody's busy, so we're gonna start right away. First, we're gonna have our Deputy Incident Commander, Eric Black, who is gonna tell us about what he knows later for the incident.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It feels good to be back here. It was nice the first time. I think we had a really good interaction. It was a nice visit with you all, but I'm gonna run through quick on kind of where we're at with the fire right now. Once again, my name is Eric Black. I'm the Deputy Incident Commander. So first things first, today we actually lowered the evacuation levels in a number of areas, and looks like some of you already know about it, but we have the new map up there if you want to see where. It's easier to see it than it is for me to describe the roads and the areas, because you all know this so much better. So we're still the #1 fire in the state of Alaska, #1 in terms of the priority. So Alaska, we've reduced down our readiness level, and if you've seen in the news, the lower 48 now has increased their readiness level. So they've become kind of the Big Apple, taking all the juice from resources around the country. So it will be a little more difficult for us to keep our resources. However, our fires really, it's looking so much better than the first time when we were here with you. We have 374 people on the fire, and we are tapering that down. We're starting to right size the fire. We've combined some management areas of the fire. It was a bit more large and complex, the management structure of the fire. And on Thursday of this week, we are going to transition with another team of people. So last time we talked about the incident management team, and that's the team of people that manages what's going on the fire. So the firefighters are out there doing the groundwork, boots to the ground, making the fire go out, protecting the houses, keeping the road open. And the management team is what's helping organize that, giving all the support to the firefighters, be it food, machinery, places to sleep, things like showers and bathrooms, of course, all the documents, the maps, everything like that, keeping track of the costs. So we're switching out with another team. And so usually when I say that, there's usually a sense of panic that comes over people, because they start thinking, oh boy, we spent all this time training us up on how things are done in Esther, how things are done in this area of Alaska. Now we got to train a whole new set of people on how we do things, or worse yet, they don't know what's important to you, what your values are, and what's important to you, and how you do things in this part of Alaska. Not to worry, most of the people that are going to be taking over on Thursday have been here already. We were going to bring one of the incident commanders who's taking over. We were going to bring him here tonight with us, but he's getting his time off so that he can go back into it nice and fresh. So he was off yesterday and today, and those are mandatory time off for him so that he can be ready to get back into it. But he's been on this fire now for, like 2 weeks, maybe more. Has it been 3 weeks? So yeah, he's been here 3 weeks. So he knows what's going on. He knows the life here in this part of Alaska. So he's definitely sensitive to the issues that all of you bring to the table. And that's what we're here for. So last time we brought out some concerns that y'all had some wonderful ideas. We take that back to our shop and we're like, what do we need to do to make that happen? And how can we do what we do even better to serve you even more? So what I don't want to do is take up more time with my stuff, because to me, the most important thing is getting your questions and comments and feedback from y'all, because that's how we do what we do even better. So thank you for inviting us back, and I'm going to turn it over to our master of ceremonies.
So to tell you something nice is, if you guys want any information about the fire, and we have Alaska Changing Wildfire Environment. We have all kind of managing fire and smoke in Alaska. We have all kind of things here, even stickers, if you want to take some. So next we're lucky to have here Ben Barrows. He's the incident meteorologist.
Evening, everybody. We're all you. I think I recognize some faces from last meeting, so I'll keep it brief. I won't reintroduce myself and do the whole thing. But just in case if there's anybody online, I'm Ben Bardos. I'm incident meteorologist here working on a Nana Ridge complex. I'm a forecaster here in Alaska, and it's great to come out and help out on wildfires. And my job here is to basically protect firefighters and keep them safe when they're out on the fire. So with that, we'll just get into weather, provide everybody here a little weather update. Just another public service announcement, if you will. These numbers will be a little bit different than what the forecast office is predicting, because I'm forecasting specifically for Nana Ridge and the Goldstream Valley there, just honing that in. So looking at it, the first thing we noticed, lots of green. When I was here last time, there was some yellow, I think a couple pieces of red in there. So that's a good thing for the fire, where all the weather conditions going forward through the weekend look like they're just going to be pretty low-key, if you will, pretty just moderate with the weather. We do have some rain coming in still through about Wednesday, just showery activity. That'll mainly be up on the Nana Ridge, and maybe down here in Esther you'll get some, but that'll be up higher in the mountains will be more impacted by that, and some higher gusty winds the next couple of days too, with the winds out of the west. And then we're going to have a low-pressure system that's going to work its way south through the state and park itself in the Gulf of Alaska, and that's going to switch our winds here in the interior to the northeast as it kind of wraps around that low counterclockwise there. So that's what that shift is, and that'll bring us a drying wind going into the weekend, and it'll also warm us up too when this kind of cool cloudy stuff clears out. So it'll actually be like just general weather, an actually pretty nice weekend. Looks like it'll be right around 70, maybe upper 60s, maybe an afternoon shower here or there. A little bit lower relative humidity and partly to mostly cloudy. So kind of one of those nice late July days or weekends that we like this time of year. And honestly, that is really it for the weather. There's nothing long term that looks like it's going to be a huge concern, and there's nothing long term that looks like it's going to cool us off super quick either. So we'll have a nice kind of few days at least until next week of summer weather, which will be pretty nice. And lastly, like I said last time, always happy to chat weather if you guys want to. So I'll be here in the back afterwards. Thanks.
Thank you. So next we're gonna have our fire behavior analyst, Mr. Casey O'Connor.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember some faces here for sure, like Ben said, but I'll reintroduce myself. Casey O'Connor, Fire Behavior Analyst. And last time, I think I gave the rundown on what I did. My main purpose on an incident is safety. That's number one. You guys, firefighters. And also informing operations and other functions within the team what the fire wants to do. So I'm telling them, with the fire behavior triangle that I referred to before, climate, topography, and then fuels is what's driving my field, what I do. And so I'm looking at those, factoring in, and the big one, coming from Ben, or IMET, is the weather. That's a big factor. And then it interplays with that fuels piece too. There's fuels on the landscape, and I think I talked about it last time. The spruce that's the gas. That's really the fuel that's been problematic and carried a lot of the spread on this fire through its time. And there's other fuels in there. There's hardwoods that are a little softer. It's not wanting to spread through. But the interrelationship between the weather and the fuels is key. And like right now, if I were to go back through on this matrix, this past weekend, we'd had several days of drying, and that fuel bed, a lot of that's that duff layer where it's holding heat, heavy logs. Some of it's like in dozer berms, and the white spruce in particular, they're coming down where it's burned through, and then that starts, it's kind of burning in those areas. It was an uptick in activity. There was, a little bit of torching. There was activity over the weekend. And then this moderating weather came in, which is great, and I'm sure you guys appreciate it as much as we do. But that brought some precip, rain to the fuel bed. That inhibited spread on the surface. There's still, down deep, there's still heat. It's still holding heat. But it looks like going forward this week, we've got more potential precip coming, which will further moderate things, and more normalcy kind of going. The temps and the RH is a good one too, because that affects the fuel bed. And then additionally, whether this is a good thing or not, but I think we lost about an hour and a half of light. I've been kind of tracking the sun up, sun down. So we're getting to where the fuels are also being moderated. You guys are actually getting something that I'm more used to where I'm from, and that's, nighttime recoveries where you actually have some sundown and you get RHs coming up, and it gives a chance to kind of check up that top layer of the fuel bed. So normalcy going forward, and also through and I'm sure ops will hit on this, all the effort that's been going on has cut out a lot of that heat source, where there's hot stuff that connects to a fuel bed. So slowly it's just kind of subduing potential, but there's still potential going forward. I mean, I don't want to undersell that, but overall it looks normal going into this week, and low to moderate potential for fire behavior. I better wrap it up there, but if you guys have any questions afterwards, I would love to take them. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we're going to have the Operation Section Chief, Brad Washa.
Brad Washer, I'm lead ops for the Alaska Incident Management Team. Brian Tagg, who was here before, he went home. He's trying to reset because the Alaska Team 1 is setting up to be on rotation coming later on this week. So he's trying to get at least 2 days off before going back out. As far as our operations group, we also have a planning ops, and then we're running night ops for a little while, but I'm lead ops on this fire. As far as the incident itself, this is day 16 for us. I realize for you guys, this is it's over a month that you've actually had smoke up on the hillside and kind of watching things. So that's kind of the story so far. Just going around the fire itself, talk about what we've been doing. The Goldstream group, this was an area that we really had a lot of concern for when we first came to the fire, and the potential of either the Goldstream fire coming down. It was kind of making advancements this way, and the Bonanza fire was moving to the southwest towards that. So we had set up what we call structure protection in that area. So we put up all kinds of hose lays, and we had pumps and folded tanks and that sort of thing in the event that the fire came into that area. We're feeling really comfortable with the precipitation that we've had the last few days. And you've kind of seen, Casey kind of talked about it, but we've kind of seen that where we get a precipitation event and then it slowly warms up and we start seeing a little bit of increase in fire behavior. Then we get another precipitation event, it drops down again. Then it kind of warms up. So we kind of been in that cyclical feeling. Typically this time of year in this part of Alaska, we kind of develop that southwesterly flow, and you see more of a precipitation type situation on not necessarily a daily basis, but a more regular basis. So we're kind of moving into that time of the season. You never know, though. There's always those anomalies as far as those years when we don't get those sort of that southwesterly flow that maintains. So that's kind of what we are looking at, is like what would happen, if a week from now or 2 weeks from now we kind of get, you almost need 2 weeks of drying out for the fire to actually move. Even this Saturday was when we had the most activity. We ran some of our heavy helicopters, the Type 1 helicopters, the large ones that can carry up to over 2,000 gallons in their tank. We ran a couple fuel cycles of those, but it was more, the fire wasn't actually moving, it was more isolated areas of heat. We had a little bit of torching and flaming, but nothing major. So we're really feeling good about Little Goldstream. As mentioned earlier, we've reduced the evacuation levels from down to ready, so a green level for this area, pulling out our structure protection measures in there. And part of that also is with the team itself, we're kind of transitioning from our organization to a Type 3 organization, and we want to reduce the burden that's going to be put on them, because they're going to be a lot smaller organization, fewer people to deal with things, but they'll be there in the event that the fire picks up at all. Moving up, just looking at some of our activity, this area where we see black on the line on the fire itself, that's where we feel really comfortable that the fire's not going to expand anymore. We're basically have done what work we're going to do in there, and we're pulling resources out of there. Where we don't have black on the line, we're still working on some of those areas. Like this area is in a limited suppression area. It's basically gotten into wetlands and that, and we haven't seen movement in there, and we don't plan on putting resources up there. Same thing with this northern part of the division. We did put resources up there, but we didn't have to put a lot of attention. It basically, the fire made its push, and I wasn't doing much movement. Talking with Alaska Forestry, they had some concern. They had a couple wooden bridges, so we put some sprinkler systems on those bridges. We also had a couple, there's a forest road here. There's a couple places where the fire slopped over. We took some action on those, but didn't take a lot of action, and really feel pretty comfortable with that. Along the Goldstream Creek area, again, the fire's pretty much hung up on its own. But then when we start getting out in this corner, we have been putting a lot of attention on what we're calling Division Juliet. Just because the alignment of where this fire is and the valley here. So we got topography working in favor of the fire, because it likes to go upslope, up canyon, and the fuels, the type of fuels that are in there. So we do have 2 crews that are spiked out there. They've been staying overnight on the fire line itself. We've been supporting them with helicopters and the like, and then we have another crew that's been driving in. So we're hoping in the next few days to be able to blacken in a lot of this area, and especially with the precipitation that's holding us with us. The Parks Highway corridor, we are not doing anything as far as traffic control anymore. Any traffic control measures are because of the construction project that's going on here, where they're straightening the road. So we have pulled all of our traffic control measures from there. We have been working with them so that we can get firefighters through those areas, and they can go around the pilot cars that they're holding up. But our efforts, we're really feeling good along the Parks Highway. And there's a lot of infrastructure along the Parks Highway. The intertie, as far as the power system, there's the cable system and everything like that. So feeling good about that. Coming out here to Bonanza Creek, we continue to put effort in here. That first round of precipitation, we got over an inch of precipitation when we first got here. This looked like a swamp out there where the dozer lines were. And realizing, one of the big concerns, and Casey kind of hit on it, with the deep duff here, I mean, that heat can go down there, and actually, there are cases where that heat's actually lasted all winter, and so we do have to take additional measures as far as trying to get to that heat and put it out. So we have been putting a lot of attention into there. Also, we've been bringing dozer line across here to kind of check things in here. And again, there is some alignment this direction. Not I don't feel as much as what we have in Juliet, but there is some alignment. So, you know, those are kind of areas that we're putting attention. Where it's kind of the southern part, we've got indirect line along here, and then the other area that we're putting quite a bit of attention, they call this the fingers out here, the hand. We're putting attention here. We have a hotshot crew in here also working, again, because of the values at risk here. The last place that we're also putting some attention, there's some timber sales that were sold here, and we've been working on just checking that fire up in that area because those timber sales have been sold, and in some cases there's timber down on the ground. So we've been working on that. Trying to think anything else. I think going around the horn, that pretty much speaks to what we've been doing. Again, trying to set up things for the transition. I guess, you know, kind of the take-home message is, you know, these are fire-dependent ecosystems. I mean, fire is part of those ecosystems, and it's been long before we were here, and we need to recognize that, and we've built our homes in those areas that are fire-dependent, and maybe it's a good take-home message that, you know, when you go home tonight, look around your house, and, you know, if a fire was to come through there, you kind of have a shared responsibility to take actions to make that house survivable, because, you know, how many structure engines does Estes have? 2? You know, you're not going to have an engine by your house for a later fire, not from this fire, but, you know, someday. So kind of think about that when you go home tonight. And with that, I'll turn it back.
Thank you. Amazing information, huh? So we are very lucky to have a person that is representing the Emergency Operations Center, Nancy Durhan.
Thank you. Good evening. So I'm the emergency manager and the Emergency Operations Center director, and I've been working closely with the IMT team for this fire and all of our other fires we've had around the state, well, the borough, not the state. For the evacuation levels, you should have received your alert today. If you have not received an alert for your area, you can sign up by texting wildfires to 67283. And that's wildfires with an S, is plural. You probably also received 2 other downgrades today for the Himalaya fire, because we also downgraded them today as well. So everybody's, you know, can start relaxing a little bit, but not too much because we still have fire, but at least we're starting to slowly downgrade and getting our nice fall weather slowly moving in. Also, for the animal shelter, it has been closed since we downgraded from go last time. It is on standby in case we do rev back up and need to reopen. The same with the human shelter but we still do have the clean air room at the library, which that's going to get reevaluated at the end of the week, whether or not that'll remain open or not for if you need to get out of smoke. But we haven't had smoke lately, so that's why we'll have discussions at the end of the week whether to keep that up. If you have questions, I'll be around in the back to answer any questions afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, I want to let everybody know that we have our public affairs officer here, Mary Johnson. In case you guys have questions, she's here with us. And next, we are going to have the best part of the meeting. And yeah, so regarding information for where to call for what she was talking about, evacuation or any kind of information, we have some business cards there that you guys can take with you, has a phone number, but also over there we have the public information line and the email of the Nenana Ridge Complex incident if you need it.
I thank you all very, very much for that.
Thank you, and thank you. And just to let you know, we are gonna be around in case you guys need to know something or tell us something, and we are open to hear your needs or opinions. That's why we're here. So I guess that thank you all, and for today, that will be your meeting. Thank you.